Welcome to the Bite Size Fitness Show, where we talk all things fitness, nutrition, and habits and break them down into smaller, more digestible, bite-sized pieces of content for you to enjoy. My name is Sean Bleichert and I am your host, and in today's episode, I'm going to be explaining what you should do when motivation strikes. So most of the episodes thus far have been about fitness or nutrition. This one is more to do with habits and psychology. So even though, the top 5 exercises, those type of stuff, more of a sexy topic, this is the type of stuff that is really important because most people don't fail to reach their goals because they don't know what to do. Most people fail to reach their goals because they know what to do but don't do it. And the reason they don't do it is because their habits and or their psychology. And one of the main reasons is they rely on motivation, or when they get motivation, they don't know what to do. Okay, so this one's so common that when I start talking about it, or if I give an example, you're going to be thinking that I'm talking about you. It's that common. I get this stuff every single day, and I just wish everyone had this type of mindset because it can absolutely change your life, and it's so simple. Okay, so here it is. When motivation strikes, when you're feeling motivated, what you need to do is act immediately. Okay, so there's 3 stages. There's contemplation, decision, and action, and success loves speed. So the shorter time duration between the 3, the more likely you are to succeed. Remember, just because you decided to do something doesn't mean you actually did it. You may have heard of that parable with the 3 frogs sitting on a log. One frog decided to jump into the water. So how many frogs are left? Most people think 3. Or most people think 2, but the actual answer is 3, because just because you decided to do something doesn't mean that you actually did it. Don't confuse decision with action. Okay, so when you're feeling motivated, you want to take as much action as possible because it's important to understand what motivation is. Motivation is nothing but a transient emotion. It comes and goes. It doesn't come often, but when it comes, think of it as a superpower. Think of it as a boost and take as much action as you can, because motivation is either you feeling super inspired to do something, or it's your brain and body's way of telling you to do something because you're in a lot of pain for not doing the thing. Either way, that is your perfect time to take action. Don't punt it. Don't wait till a different day. Don't wait till a different time. Do it right away. Because the way you succeed is to start by building small wins and stacking those small wins and creating momentum. It's all about momentum, because the reason you are where you are right now, if you're unhappy, is because you have momentum, but in the opposite way. You have negative habits that are kind of spiraling and building momentum, and it's very difficult to break it. The good news is momentum works both ways. So you can build positive habits, small wins stack up, and you build positive momentum. Okay, so one of the questions I get asked all the time is, I'm losing motivation, what do I do? Now that's a topic for a different episode. But the point is, motivation will never last. I'm no more motivated than anyone else. It's just a matter of taking action when you feel that motivation, building momentum, and going from there. Because the hardest part is always getting started. And the most dangerous phase is the decision stage. It's not the contemplation, it's the decision stage. Because once you decide to do anything, that space between decision and action, you're going to get something that Steven Pressfield calls resistance. Resistance is when you start to feel super anxious about that thing that you need to do. And his general rule of thumb is the more resistance you feel, the more you need to do the thing that you're scared of. So you're going to notice this, and it's not comical, but it is funny how often I see it and I can almost predict it. So I get a lot of messages and phone calls from people who say all the right things, and I can tell they're in a state of motivation. They're ready to go, right? They're telling me they're ready to change their life. They're like, I'm all in, whatever it takes. And so obviously my goal is to get them to take action quick. And the majority of them will say, yeah, for sure. I'll just book in for Monday. And as soon as I hear like a different day, I realize that motivation is going to be gone. And the chances of them actually following up with what they were saying they were going to do is super low. Not only that, inevitably, things, quote unquote, come up, right? So whether it's legitimate or not, doesn't really matter. But, the schedule all of a sudden gets really busy. Something happens in the family, something with the friends, finances become a problem. All of a sudden, something just changes the closer you get to that. The more the resistance builds, the more you're going to try to negotiate yourself out of the thing that you convinced yourself that you needed to do. But that is the exact thing that you need to do. And the hardest step is that first one. So think of motivation as that superpower, that boost. And the best thing you can do to succeed is speed. So success loves speed, right? So take action quickly. And the bigger the action that you can take when you feel that motivation, the more likely you are to get to that point. And it's something that we see every time. So Chris Williamson has this concept called anxiety cost. So anxiety cost is probably in a state that a lot of you are at right now, right? You really want it. You don't feel good. You feel like you don't like the way you look. You don't like the way you feel. You want to do something about it. And you always promise yourself you're going to start Monday or tomorrow or whatever. And then something comes up or you just get scared. And the more you push it, the worse it gets, the more anxious you get. And with anxiety cost, that's the point, right? That anxiety increases, gets worse and worse and worse the longer you push it. Even though you think you're trying to alleviate that anxiety, you're actually making it worse. And you can make up a bunch of different excuses. You can negotiate. You can do other things to occupy yourself to make it feel a little bit better at that time. But that anxiety inevitably just gets worse and worse and worse. So you need to identify it as a major priority. And it should be the first thing you want to do to check off of your day, of that time, whatever it is. They always say, like, if you have to eat a frog, eat it the first thing. 2 frog parables here. If you're gonna eat a frog, eat it first thing in the morning. If you have 2 frogs, eat the bigger one first. So same thing, right? If you're really struggling with your fitness, make it your biggest priority. Do it first thing in the morning, prioritize it. Make sure you cannot negotiate yourself out of it during that day. So if and when you get that motivation, recognize it for what it is, an absolute superpower, and take action right away, because it's not going to get you to where you want to be, but it's going to get you started. And what you need is that starting point. You need small wins. You need to get that ball rolling. That's how you build momentum, and momentum is how you build a healthy lifestyle. Sometimes it can be that simple, guys. So if you feel like you've been in this cycle for so long where you keep promising yourself you're going to do it, take action, put some skin in the game, and you'll see how your life can change. So hopefully some of you can resonate with this video. If you have any comments, post them in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinions, and we'll see you guys in the next video.